How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlet, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we've got some rumors to talk about. Let's get right into it. Starting things off with this post right here from Riddler. If you guys do not know who Riddler is, he's a legitimate leaker who's leaked actual stuff in the past, and he's back with some riddles. Now, he starts off by saying, well, some stuff I really can't understand, and says, go ahead, then a string of Chinese letters, soon, Dareda, and then says, hints for this are from 1 to 8, not starters, will debut in Sudachi 1. Sudachi 1, I think, is a reference to the DLC of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, there are a few things about this. First of all, we got this post from Soul Silver, which, I mean, I'm going to go through a bunch of what this actually means in a second, but there is also this post that just came out from Soul Silver. It says, potential spoiler warning, I don't share these unless there is something realistic. Some of this could be accurate, especially after Ku's latest riddles. The rest of it seems more like something, something through a thick fog, I guess, looking at something through thick fog. So here's what he says. Without saying, and this is just a random post by someone called Leslie Miranda, which is weird because usually it's anonymous. Either way, without saying too much about myself, I'm a person who has worked very close with Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. And I just want to drop some information since the promotional cycle has been pretty lackluster. Teal Mask, which is the first DLC that's going to be coming out, which we still do not know the exact date of. Ogerpon is the Momotaro Pokemon and is a pure grass type. Okay, well, that's kind of self-explanatory. We kind of already expected that to be the case. The hero Pokemon are Poison Fairy, Okidogi, Poison Psychic, the Pheasant, and Poison Ghost for Monkey Dory. All right. That's, again, seemingly keeping consistent with the poison typing there, which I think is accurate based on the ability they're getting. I think based on that. Either way, Ogre has a gimmick revolving around the 4 different masks they keep showing. Now, we did see in the trailer, I should point out, we did see actually in the trailer that there are these different masks that you as the player can actually wear, and that masks seem to be, a big deal here, especially because the whole name of the DLC is the Teal Mask, right? So it just makes sense in that regard if we're just going to think about it from that, simple sense. Either way, we continue on, though. It says, the other beasts and swords get paradox forms. The beasts and swords. Oh, I guess the swords of justice and the legendary beasts. Fair enough. So I guess that would mean Raikou and Entei, and I guess Terrakion and Cobalion? I think that's the names, right? I always forget the Gen 5 the legendaries. Either way, he continues on. It says there's a new regional bird and bug that's exclusive to part 1 of the DLC. Okay, that seems realistic. Doesn't seem like too far-fetched. There's 15 new Pokemon to DLC with the aforementioned above, about 12 of them. Okay, there's a Pokemon that will receive a special form similar to Ash Greninja, but the clue is that it's not from this generation, nor is it a starter/Shilmon. Okay, interesting. In the Go-Get Disc, though, which is the second part, the quote-unquote terraforms are basically elemental-based mega evolutions that essentially just recolor a Pokemon to whatever terra type it gets. It's the equivalent of just giving Charizard more draconic features if he has a dragon terraform, or making Blastoise more militaristic by giving him a steel terraform, for example. That's all that I'll be dropping, but I'll be back later date. So I feel like the quote-unquote new terraforms or whatever, like the thing that they're going to be doing, does seem like the new Terra style thing, does seem pretty lackluster, just based on this explanation, if this is true. And let's be honest, I want to expect them to do something crazy, but I don't feel like they're going to do anything crazy. It's just the way it feels right now. So we'll see what happens. Either way, next thing, this is about, I think, Pokemon Unite. To celebrate the 2nd anniversary of Pokemon Unite on July 1st, the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo will join the battle, and there's some special art. Interestingly, this was from, I think, the Japanese account of Unite. This was retweeted, I think, by Riddler, the Riddler, which is interesting. Either way, then we have some stuff to talk about else, which is also Pokemon Go developer Niantic are actually firing 230 employees and shutting down their LA offices. I'm going to assume that the reason for this is probably because a lot of the games that they make outside of Pokemon Go are more or less failures. I don't think really mostly any of them make enough money to be justified to stay alive. If you guys haven't noticed over the years, even Nintendo as a whole, Niantic is a Nintendo, it's a separate company, but even Nintendo pretty much dropped all their mobile games. The only mobile games that are still alive, I think, is Fire Emblem Heroes, I think it's called, which is like a mobile game. I played it for a while. And I think there's a bare few other ones that are still alive, but most of the ones that we, were aware of before are pretty much shut down. They're not around anymore. Either way, back to the DLC again. So, This is a bit of a post here from Soul. Says, I'm a bit behind today, but I've been super busy and I'll continue to these next 2 weeks. But don't sleep on these dates for a possible next Pokemon Presents. We are in the hype window for the Scarlet and Violet DLC now. The Teal Mask could even release as early as late August, and we only got an overview-like trailer in the Nintendo Direct that kicked us off. Now, with Mewtwo and Mew raids rumors and Mewtwo joining Unite, it seems they are building up to something. Plus, Pokemon Sleep will also be released soon, and it seems right we are going to get some bigger details on that. Here's for hoping. And this is from Jordan here. It says mid-July is starting to look like it might be getting busy. Pokemon Presents, question mark. And then we have Catching Some Z's, which is between 15th and 16th July. We have the first Pokemon movie aired on July 18th, 1998 in Japan. This marks this date this year as the 25th anniversary of the first Pokemon movie, which is interesting because Mewtwo is getting put into the game. And there was a post, of course, by Riddler hinting at this. As you can see, it's the Riddler. Again, legitimate leaker, legitimate info. Seems to always know something. And Matty also came out, and I do have some stuff about Matty here to talk about because they just did a shit ton of data mining. And he says the following: the latest update for Scarlet and Violet has some adjustments to text and some additions for future DLC content. The BTL Strid STD, Mew battle 01, Mew is going to go all out against this formidable opponent, which is interesting. Does that mean Mew is going to be making a big splash in the Scarlet and Violet DLC? Kind of possible. We'll have to wait and see. And yeah, we do have that promo art again for Pokemon Unite, which does look pretty sick, man. I do wish Unite was a bit more popular so I could make more content on it. It's just not enough people seem to care about the game for me to justify spending that much time on it. But either way, let's see what Matty actually has been up to, because there is some stuff that I think even... Let's see, there he is. So even he's been tweeting out some stuff, for example, here that I think is worthwhile mentioning. For example, right here, Scarlet and Violet version 1.3.2 updated the description of the Mightiest Mark. Old, a mark for a Pokemon caught in a 7-star raid battle, and new, a mark for especially mighty Pokemon. Will we be able to get the Mighty Mark through other means in the future? And he also says some other stuff here just in general about all this. So pretty official Scarlet and Violet, a new news website. This update was meant to change misleading move descriptions for Dire Claw, Stone Axe, and Ceaseless Edge just before Regulation D starts. So just a bunch of changes. There's a few other things like just in here if you guys want to take a look at it. Some things about, I guess, Pokemon Home, just updates for the most part, and most of the stuff further down is older, so it's not really worthwhile looking further into that. But yeah, either way, now let's talk a bit about, again, that post from Riddler. This seems to be about a new Pokemon evolution or a form. You may have heard these requirements before. Gens 1 to 8, no starters, debuts in the Teal Mask. Who's that Pokemon? This means request and hope in Japanese, but I don't know how that applies. If anyone else has more insight on this, feel free to leave it down below. And some people did have some thoughts. For example, Lucky Luke here came through and said, some stuff like just sharing some stuff like the rumor we looked at earlier. The term request is the same as that used for Lycanroc Dusk, which is interesting. And then he also has this post right here from Umino Tami, who has the theory as well, saying specifically that this could possibly be referring to the Pokemon being, in this case, Dead Moon or Queen, or I guess even the word West possibly here, with Poochyena being included as the possible Pokemon. So evolution of hyenas, Mightyena. Hyenas are famous for forming herds around their queen, which, I mean, hey, would it be interesting if we got a special new Pokemon or form of specifically Mightyena? That would be interesting, man. So this is the whole thing, right? There's a Pokemon that will receive a special form similar to Ash Greninja, but the clue is that it's not from this generation, nor is it a starter or a Shillmon. So, dude, I would love that. I think Poochyena is an awesome Pokemon. I love Mightyena as well. It's one of the 6 Pokemon from Gen 3. I love the doggos. I mean, basically, it's a doggo, okay? It's a doggo Pokemon. I don't care what anybody says. I think it would be pretty cool if it actually received that. I think genuinely that would be pretty sick. But again, it's just all up for debate right now. We don't actually know if that's going to be the case or not. Just going to have to wait and see. So there's a few people who, are going to be doing some general speculations on this and that kind of stuff. Like I mentioned, Soul has been doing a lot of that. He's been going through a lot of different posts and talking about a lot of different stuff. One of these things, for example, he posted here is some of the connections between the stories in the games and some other stuff like that. For example, he says, here's the proof of the big connection between the chains of on the loyal 3 Pokemon related to Ogerpon that I mentioned in this tweet below. Now that we know the chains are related to poison, we can see that to defeat the boy turned Oni, the Shuten Doji, they used poison. So if we mix this tale with the tale of Momotaro, it all adds up. Ogerpon doesn't seem to just be a normal Oni, and if you look deeper into the tale of Shuten Doji, it really sounds like Ogerpon's inspiration comes from here more. This connection blew my mind. Definitely check out the quote retweet below. And basically, it's just this Japanese folklore tale about an Oni, and that the teal mask is primarily based on Momotaro, which, interestingly, I guess, also connects to one of the folk tales behind the Majora's Mask in this case. So just a weird amount of connections between all of this. If you guys want to pause right here and just look through all of this, I'll move my camera smaller. You guys can pause right now and look through all of this. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's just a lot to read, and I don't really see the point in reading the whole thing if you guys want to just look at it yourself. Otherwise, I could do that in a future video if it's necessary, as we might dive back in just to look at what's been said, what, interesting stuff has dropped that we may not have covered already. But for the most part, it seems like a lot of stuff is happening, okay? Riddler Coup's going crazy. Stuff is happening. We don't really know when the DLC is going to be coming out. It's all just up for debate right now. We're just waiting to see what's going to crop up. But that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.